All right, y'all, I'm back. I had to like think for a little bit, just get the thinking going. But welcome back. We're playing some DC Worlds Collide, and this is Mr. Squirrel. Welcome back to this channel. As always, I love having you here. You matter to me, and I love chatting with every single one of you. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk a little about what is this video going to be about. And so I was thinking about my last video, and I think this is just going to be a shoot in the breeze kind of video. Super informal, but I was thinking a lot about what's coming next. What should you plan for? So to do that, I'm going to start with a few things. We know 2 characters are coming. We know 2 are coming. We also know that there's a 3rd character. I don't know how much they want us to release. Like, I was looking at old subreddits for this game years ago, because this game has been in kind of a weird development. But I think it's a masterpiece. I'm just going to say that. I think this game, masterpiece in terms of gameplay. This is like the perfect balance between I need to pay attention and I can just kind of put it on auto and like go chill out. You know what I mean? Like, if I need to watch my kid, I can just kind of put it in my pocket, put it on auto and do the thing. Okay, but let's talk about, this video is about who's coming out. How do you need to plan out moving forward? Okay, excuse me. Okay, let's start with who's already in the game. We know they're in the game, and we know they're coming next. Guy. Okay, he's not in the game right now. You can't summon for him. You can't get him anywhere else. He's not around right now. So Guy was in the new DC movie. So what does Guy do? Guy pretty much, it's very lore accurate. He's like a selfish Green Lantern, selfish Jessica. What do I mean by selfish? So long story short, he inflicts interference. He can do crits. All of this, all that he's doing here, is he's inflicting this thing called interference. I was trying to figure out what interference is, and I can't find it. I don't know what interference is. And if someone has interference, he does more stuff. So he inflicts this debuff, and when he hits someone that has it, he does more stuff. I don't fully know what interference actually is. I'm curious. This might change when I figure out what the debuff actually is, or whatever this thing is, my perception of him. But he gets shields based on 5% of the damage that he does. If he's critting, he's doing more damage. He's giving himself a shield, yada, yada, yada. Now, I have an issue with this team in the sense that he's very selfish. Again, I don't know what interference does. Maybe interference is like, it does something cool. It has a cool interaction with shields. If that's the case, then maybe I'll rethink this, right? But I also don't think, so I think like this. I look at color of the wheel, the character, like, so he's red, right? Red attack. Well, and he's epic. Okay. You know who else is red and epic? Epic. Oh my God. Who's mighty and is an attacker that I will, just based on preliminary analysis of kits, that I like a heck of a lot more? He's the same thing, but he's actually more team oriented. So why am I going to summon for a guy that's not going to do the same thing? He does the same thing, but just he's selfish and doesn't do it as well. Now, granted, again, we don't know what the interference mechanic is. If interference is like applied to someone and then every time someone hits them, they get a shield, then you know what? I'll bite my own tongue and say, you know what? I'm wrong. But then he's still not replacing Hal. Hal is legitimately beyond busted because of what he does and the way he interacts with Lex Luthor. Okay. So we know Guy's coming out. We also know, let's see if you can even see him. You can't see him right now. We know, actually, you know what? I can show you where it did come out. Oh, is it in the message? It is in the message right here. So look at the last line. Note, this offer excludes the current Justice Gang season characters, Superman DCU, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific. That means that Mr. Terrific is coming out as well. I don't know what Mr. Terrific will be, if he'll be an epic or a legendary. I have a feeling he'll probably be an epic in first go. I heard he was phenomenal in the movie. I'm super stoked about that. rip justice for Darwin. So that is something to take note of. Now, I want to show a couple other characters. I think one of them is here because they're also in the game. Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? I want to go to, can I show it? Okay. It's not technically here. Those are bosses. So there are two other characters that currently, and I've mentioned these in other videos, that are in this game, that they're characters in the game that you will fight as enemies, and we see them. The first is Firestorm. What I've seen about what he does, at least based on when he's an enemy, what he does is he throws a debuff on two characters, and then once that debuff, the turn goes, they get burned, right? It seemed like he was also doing some shields, which if he is a kind of healing shielder support for burn, if you saw my burn tier list, what do they need? They need a support character. I actually think that would make that team incredibly, like, it would make them on point with shields, because now you're giving someone that has shields. Like, what if they, again, what those kits might change, right? Like, I have a feeling they're tweaking the kits. If he is Firestorm, because he was kind of like a support character. I mean, I don't know. He was both like an offense. He could be like a Ret Pally, you know, does some healing, does some damage, you know, does a whole, you know. But he could be like very, if he has support and he is doing something similar to, like, I don't anticipate him to do the same thing as like Kid Flash. So if I go here, I don't anticipate him doing the same thing, because Kid Flash is just straight up healing like crazy. I also think Kid Flash works just fine on the burn team too. But if you have someone else that's also burning and healing and doing these things, so then you're contributing more to that burn team, because remember, you need 4 stacks of it to then it'll and then you combust them or detonate them. That's the word they use, detonate. I want to make sure I use that word properly. They detonate them, and then with Superboy, you can't see it on the screen, but his leader skill, again, I've been over this before. I had to move Superboy off for a little bit. I just got a dupe of Superboy actually. But then his detonate, when he detonates, he does 18% more damage, which, hey, great. As long as Firestorm, I don't know the order they're going to release him in, but I am just telling you, Firestorm is going to come soon in some way, shape, or form. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe I'm just spewing out nonsense. But if you've got a character that's already in the game, we fought him many times. Like, you fight him quite often, actually, in the story. And it's just like, okay, but he's not in the game, which means if you've got the model, you've got the abilities, you've got everything, that means that he's coming soon. Whether he's a 5-star or whether he's a legendary and epic will wait to be seen. I'm very interested in that. I'm curious to see what they do with him. But I'm going to tell you a character that I'm a little bit more interested in. Personally, I am very interested in Firestorm if he's a support. If he's a support and he's doing cool support things. If he's just another attacker, I'm not going to be interested in him. I'm going to just tell you straight up, I'll skip him. As a content creator for this game, I'm going to skip him. I just don't, unless he's like literally every time a character takes a turn, they're getting a burn stack and he's doing something amazing that, what's her name, is that, because to me, what has to happen with Firestorm then is he has to replace Starfire, but Starfire is giving you energy. So for me, then it's just like, great, okay, well, I'm not going to get too far into it, but I'm just kind of thinking ahead, because Superboy is your team leader, even though I think he is kind of like the weakest link on that team, which I think is also slightly a problem about Burn, is the leader is kind of weak. But again, I don't have him that high of rank. Where is his skills though? Because one of the things I do look at these characters and I try to look at what they do. A lot of his stuff is literally just get more damage. It's not like again, I'm coming back to John Stewart. In my previous video, John Stewart literally becomes almost a new character when you rank him up. He goes from like straight up 0 to hero. Like I think if he's maxed out and he's got his at least rank 8, he is straight up, I think, one of the best tanks in the game. Like rivaling Lex, because he's just casting his ult for free so much. Like you wouldn't need it. Like you can put him on the last order of the ult turns and he'll still have his ult up twice before that even happens. Just like, hot damn. Yeah, so it's not here or there. but again, this I think is an issue with the burn team. Is that like again, like am I gonna take out for Firestorm? Am I gonna take out uh, 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 Starfire? No. Why? Because look, rank up. Where? No, sorry, right here. Again, I'm not working on them right now. Right here, when triggering and gaining energy, has a 50% additionally gain 1 energy. When dealing damage, if the target is not afflicted with burn, adds 2 stacks of burn. And look at the top here, when dealing damage, 1 stack of burn. For every 2 enemies detonated, gain 1 energy. So as long as you're just, popping off the burns, which are now with Superboy, you're getting a lot of energy back. I'm sorry, that's dope. So he's got to be a support. If he's not a support, don't summon him for him. Sorry. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a tank, and you don't need a tank. You don't need a tank because guess what? He's a tank. He's a tank masquerading around as a DPS. He is a tank. Again, I'm going to build him up later. The only reason I am summoning on the weekly recruitment banner is I really want to get Superman. I really want to get Superman. I hope I get Superman at some point so I can make the burn team as good as it's supposed to be. I really want Superman. Yeah, okay, I loved Superman growing up as a kid. I grew up with Christopher Reeves as Superman, so I might have just dated myself by saying that, but you know what, it is what it is. Christopher Reeves, I haven't seen the new one though. Again, people are gonna be like, dude, guys, it's hard when you're working full time and on top of it, you're trying to, make content for a game and take care and you're a dad. It's woo. It's hard. It's hard doing all 3 things. So I might have to just wait. If it's on my phone and I can pause it, it's good. I can go see it. Right. Okay. So, but coming back. He is the tank. You put the 2 Superman in the front. That you have Superman. That you have 2 characters that are very tanky. That especially him, he's getting HP back every turn. Especially if he ranks up, he's getting like 20 something HP. He is very tanky if you rank him up. I actually think that's why he's goated. I don't think I think he's goated because you can literally throw him in the front and he is just doing his thing and it is good. I also think honestly that even if Firestorm does come out, this team, like if Kid Flash already does so much, like Firestorm is going to have to do a lot for me to like really think about getting him because Kid Flash already is like, he's such a great healer. You know who else works really well on this team? Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor works great on this team. You actually just put him in the back, which is kind of funny. But neither here nor there. Actually, I think Lex Luthor is probably one of the best like characters for the team because because he's in the back, he's not getting hit. His shield's always up, so he's always sending someone out. He's always sending like you just have Superboy with the highest attack, and Superboy's just building up his attack power super fast, and then he just becomes like a demon to deal with. Right? I actually think he is the best. One of the best sustains, which is okay. Not here nor there. So yeah, and it comes back to if I'm thinking about planning moving forward, am I going to summon for Firestorm? He has to be doing some real broken stuff for me to care. Because that team's almost pretty much, I just need to raise up the character, but it's pretty much good, right? Guy has to be doing some pretty crazy stuff. I don't know what Mr. Terrific's going to do. He could, so here's the thing. He does shielding stuff. Right? If Mr. Terrific, and he was shielding characters, if he's a support shielder, as I haven't picked up a copy of Pandora. That's actually why I haven't picked up a copy of Pandora, because I was thinking Mr. Terrific might actually be a really good shielder. Because if you think, like, I've seen enough of the spoilers, some parts of the movie, that I know what he does. And it's also in the trailers too, so this isn't anything super spoilery. But it's in the trailers mostly but he's doing shields at some point, right? And that if he's a support, then you're slotting him into perfectly to the team, because I think Pandora is good and Zatanna's very good, right? But she's like a Swiss Army knife. She works everywhere. And I actually think she's better with Wonder Woman. And on the Shield team, like my long term, as you saw in the Shield video, it's gonna be Lex, Hal, Jess, and then John, right? I need a support character so I can trigger Lex's passive, right? For his leader skill, because he's what a team synergy. I just keep calling leader skills. So that leads into, if he's support now, if Mr. Terrific is not a support character, then and he's shielding, if maybe he does something very different, possibly, I don't know. He doesn't have a space on the team. I mean, I will say this: if you don't have Hal and you want to run the shield team, then Guy is a great replacement. I don't know how they're going to kind of release them. They might have like a guaranteed banner, but I am just going to be very honest with you. I don't think I'm going to be summoning for Guy because I have Hal, and Hal's already 8 stars and he does amazing work. I don't really need anything else after that. So I don't think I'm going to be summoning for Hal, but again, Guy, but I am waiting to see what Mr. Terrific does. If he is interesting and a support, I'm looking at supports right now because I don't think we have a lot of good supports in this game besides Zatanna. So why is this so important right now when I'm thinking about this? Guys, I will tell you, in all gacha games, do you know who does not get power crept well? Supports. They are like, supports traditionally are the least power crept characters because they just, rather than one, because the issue in these games with power creep is that with a damager, you're going to get someone else that does more damage. With a tank, you're going to get someone that does more tanking, that does more shield, that does whatever, right? Like a really good example of this, if anyone's ever played Honkai Star Rail, I'm trying to think of games that people might have played before this. I wasn't big into AFK. It was just so boring. I'm sorry if you did play it, more power to you, but it was boring as hell for me. So I just stopped playing it. I could not that's why this game to me is like, I love this game because there was something missing in AFK, and this game is like very similar in structure to it, but this game is just has an engagement. I also grew up with these characters. I mean, Michael Keaton, Christopher Reeves, you know what I mean? Like I grew up with them as Gene Hackman, right? As Lex Luthor. I mean, there's so much. And then you now have the newer, I will always say this though, I love Ben Affleck as Batman. That warehouse fight scene, chef's kiss. And I do like, what's his name now? I know they're looking for a new guy, but which makes me sad. I hope they give us one more Batman movie. I know it's kind of up in the air whether or not I think they're going to do it, but the Batman is one of my favorite Batman movies. I know that's a hot take, whatever. Love it. Okay, let's keep going on. So you're noticing what I'm trying to say here though is that, so in those games there are support characters. The game, some of those games are like 3-4 years old, right? And the support character that came out in the first year is still very meta. They just change up what the support does and make it more niche for specific teams. But the support character, like I remember recently, because if you've seen prior videos on this channel, I played Honkai Star Rail. I do like RPG. I like turn-based games. Final Fantasy X. I love Final Fantasy X. But one of the things that happens is that support characters, why they don't age out in the same way that a DPS is because you can't just do more damage, right? What if this character now, they have more niche roles? That's why I'm saying like Firestorm, for instance, he needs to do something super niche in terms of like supporting the team while applying burn. Imagine if he does the same level of healing or shielding, but burns at the same time, then right. But then I also get worried about, I think then we're also going to see like where the leader skills, the team synergies like come into play. But I think then it's going to like, how are you going to power creep the leader? Because then a good example of power creeping a leader is going to be Superboy. Superboy is very good. I don't think he's bad. But the thing is when you look at the burn team, I actually think he is the weakest link on the team. When the leader is the weak link, that is not a good thing, right? Like I look at like a lot of these characters, so there's a reason I keep saying Lex Luthor is, I think, one of the best characters in the game. Why do I say this? Because not only does he have an OP, not only is he himself OP, but his leader skill is OP. So you have a very powerful character running a very powerful leader skill. That means as other characters get moved out, he can stay there and he will be relevant for you for a very, 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 very long time. I see Lex being like not removing him off. If this game if developers do this game right, this game can be years. This game could be like exist for a very long time. I mean, I'd like that. This game is so much fun. But in that time, I think Lex could take up a chunk of that time because of how his kit operates. You know why? Because he not only, you just need to get his HP up. You need to make him just a walking wall, and then he's just going to send your highest attacker out. That could be a different character every single time. Hal Jordan eventually is going to get replaced, right? Because it's just someone's going to do shielding and damage better than him. So yeah, he's going to get replaced. That's to be expected, right? But is he going to get replaced as easily? No. Because are you just going to make someone that does exactly the niche thing that he does, which is shield and bring in assist characters? No, they'll do shield and something else. But if you want someone that's shielding and bringing in a character that auto attacks and needs to auto attack, games don't really work like that. They don't just say, oh, here's Lex, I'm going to make Lex 2 like Lex 2. Yes, that will happen, but in a couple of years, right? But even then, it's slightly different. Because then it's just like, well, why did I release it? And then developers are also just thinking, I'm just releasing the same character twice. Doesn't usually operate that way. And when that happens, that's also not a good sign. That also is just not good for whatever. So with that in mind, but then you have like your flex characters here, but I'm talking about very niche characters. Now, there's one more character that's not in this game, but is in the game. Well, not playable, but in the game. And that's going to be Killer Frost. She is around. I've seen her do some ults. She exists in... You'll fight her in the Convergence. Let's see. We're on... Is she here? No. Where is she? I remember fighting her. I'm not going to spend... You know what? Give me a minute. I'm going to pause this. Oh, there's Firestorm. You can see him. DPS. Okay, so there's an issue. Adding burn can deal damage to multiple targets. So he's a DPS character. So there's a good info. They got to make him interesting. Now, this is not to say that DPS cannot do support, because let's look at Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is a DPS character. He's classified as DPS. He shouldn't be. I wish he wasn't, because then he could trigger. I would actually love to put him on my shield team because he works really well on the shield team because he's doing cool stuff, but he's classified as a damager. So then again, that doesn't really concern me as much because sometimes it's just a classification. But again, if he's just deeps, who am I taking off the team? He's not a tank. Well, we'll see. Now they can also change too. That's not end of the world. They can change things. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna find Killer Frost. Okay, so small issue. I looked over the place. She's in Convergence. I don't want to look her up online because I don't want to. I'm a little concerned with like leaks and stuff like that. I know companies can be very sensitive to leaks, so I'm not gonna go look up online and find. I don't want to spread misinformation. I'm gonna just say it like that. She is in this game. I am pretty sure she's a DPS character. And so why am I actually really excited for Killer Frost? So I want to show you why I'm excited for Killer Frost, because there is a character, Supergirl, who has one of the cool, I think, a really interesting passive. Once per turn per ally, when an ally applies Frostbite on an enemy, heal the ally for 70% of Supergirl's attack. She can go up to 100%. So she is this like Frostbite crazy character support that's super amazing. So increase crit rate by 20%, attacking with more than 5 seconds Frostbite during the battle, gain 30% physical protection, but takes additional 15 superpower damage. So she is just doing this really cool thing. Also hits all frozen enemies and does an additional one of frozen enemies. So to me, there's going to be some cool, interesting interaction with Frostbite. Now, they're going to be very careful with Frostbite, because Frostbite and Frozen is like that's a hard CC. I have a feeling they're going to be very cautious with how much the Frostbite itself can kind of help like applying it, but getting someone fully frozen, that is a hard CC. That is a very, very, it's rough when you get fully frozen. That's just like your character's like, all right, well, whoop, right? But the reason I say she's like, Frostbite in itself is really interesting in the sense that here's the thing. So like for instance with Lex Luthor, right? If he brings her out to attack, she can hit and then do more Frostbite stacks, right? Now, there's another character that does Frostbite and is very good. He has an interesting interaction, but you're going to need a really good... I think this team, it needs things, and I don't know if Frostbite's ever going to become Frostbite by itself. And maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it needs a lot. Because you got this guy, you've got Bizarro, who does so he can random any 3 times, each attack 1 stack of Frostbite, has 1% chance to add a freeze to the turn. He's doing weaken, and then he's keeping someone, but he's only applying Frostbite through his again, don't have his full kit here. When turn of an ally holding a flower ends, Bizarro and heal ally, and then self 3% of our max health. So he's very good at healing, on top of with what's her name, Supergirl. You're doing a lot, right? Those two kind of go hand in hand together. Now, the other Frostbite characters are going to be elites, right? So there are other characters that are, so another character that is doing Frostbite, but it's not, is Superman. So so this is going to be his this is in his advanced attack. Attacks the enemy with the highest attack with a freezing breath, dealing physical damage to 100%, and that adds 1 stack of Frostbite and knocks the enemy back to 20% action bar. This is very good, but you kind of need DPS now, and so with what's her name, I actually think you really want, I don't know if I always have this thing with Bizarro that I don't actually like putting him in the front line, because he will get like just mollywopped very quickly. There's a reason I really don't like putting him in the front line. I'm saying all of this because this team is very unique in what it needs. Superman is very good, but he's also not like a crazy tank. He's very tanky, but he's not a crazy tank. Like a crazy tank is a rank 8. I mean, I'm like glazing this dude now. John Stewart, right? Crazy tank, rank 8. Lex Luthor. They're shielding. They're doing all of these different things. Superman does damage too, and a lot of it, but he's also, that comes at the cost of taking a lot of damage. Granted, does he have an invulnerability? Yeah, he does. But but he's also taking more damage from super attacks. So yeah, he's very physically resistant. But if you have like a Constantine on your team, Constantine like wreaks. Zatanna and Constantine can legitimately like run through Superman. This is also like for the burn team, just an FYI, your 2 front line have a weakness to super, which is also why Lex Luthor is really good on that team, but I'm not going to get into it. They have a weakness to superpower. So you're running a Constantine. If someone's running Constantine against you, they are legitimately going to run through your front line, especially since Constantine is balloon and he's super, and he's doing superpower damage. Constantine legitimately destroys Superman. Which I mean, it's kind of lore accurate, not lore like Constantine himself, but magic. Yeah, I get the idea. But like, so I think Frostbite's going to be a weird one. I think it'll be interesting, but I also think it's going to be very weird. Because I think Bizarro is a weird character. But that kind of comes back to, so planning moving forward, who am I really like, and then what else are they going to do moving forward? Now I will tell you this, they need poison. Poison, like if you're looking at those synergy videos, I actually didn't make a poison or a bleed video because I just was like, there's like, you shouldn't be running them. So I didn't want to make a synergy video at all. But like we got our leaders here. I'll just run through them really quickly. Block's in a weird place, but where is he? Okay. So the block and bleed and poison are weird. There's a lot they can do with these characters. I think there's a lot of things that they can pull that might be a little bit more obscure characters. Not even obscure. I mean, I'm curious to see what they do with Joker. I think Joker will definitely be poison. There's no way he's not poison. I mean, we don't have a Joker in this game. and there's so many. I mean, the thing that gets me is a multiverse and how many characters they can really pull into this. Like, there's just so many characters. I mean, we don't have I mean, there's so many guys we can pull into this game that I'm curious to see where they go, how they kind of incorporate this. But Bleed is in a weird spot because here's the thing: Two-Face is good as a tank. Like, he can kind of tank, and he can also kind of sit in the back and be this life steal giving character. He works both ways. So personally, I think what's going to happen is that we're going to get the guy and we're going to get the Mr. Terrific. And I think they're going to move away from Shields for a little bit. I think the Shields will pop up again when the new Lantern show comes out. And that's coming. There's a TV show of Lanterns coming out. If you don't know, I'm just letting you know that there is a Lantern show coming out. I have a feeling they're gonna let Shields rest for a little bit. But I would also say I think Shields is just gonna be a really good, just given the source material that's happening right now, I would say it's a good team to invest in. I just think Shields will be relevant for a while. It's never not relevant, and when the best character in the game with one of the best leader skills is running it, I think you are safe to go after Shields. But with the other teams, I'm curious to see what they do. I'm a little curious about what they're going to do with Firestorm now that I looked at he's an attack character. I'm pretty sure, and again, if someone has, I will tell you this: I know there's Reddits on the Killer Frost. I know there are. I've seen them. They're in old Reddit posts. But I'm not gonna. One of the things that I'm very cautious about putting that up here is that we don't know. They can change. I mean, they literally, guys, they can go in, and just because he says an attack right now, do you know how easy it'll be? They can go in and just make him a Firestorm, a support character, and like just change it up. He does the same. They can change it. What that would mean for the characters and all that stuff, we don't know. Like what did that mean for your enemies? I don't. They probably change it too. I mean, I've seen that done actually kind of a lot, where you'll go up in the game, like a game like this. And I remember playing, I forget what it was. Maybe it was AFK Arena. I came back after a while for a little bit. And I remember, I think they changed something. And then the enemies did change too. So it was just kind of like, okay. And, take note of that. That they will change the characters on top of like the enemies along with it. And I've seen them do these things in other games. They could potentially just do it here too, or just leave the character the same. And they're like, yeah, that's just, he's the NPC version. You get this version. So I'm not saying he's going to stay as an attacker. I'm not going to say Killer Frost is going to stay as an attacker. Who knows what they will come out. They can change the colors. They can change whatever they want. They don't need to prescribe to any of this, but I am a little concerned with, I think Burn is fine actually in its current form, but my concern with Burn is that the leader skill I think is the weakest character on the team. So it would be kind of interesting if Firestorm is actually has a different leader skill. I'm also very curious to see what they do with leader skills moving forward and how they will change leader skills. But all of this is to be said is that this needs to be balanced out with how much investment goes into a character. I'm just going to tell you right now, I would invest in Lex Luthor. I would invest in Green Arrow. I think they have very good and broken leader skills. They themselves are very good and broken characters. And you can't really go wrong investing in them. That's why like the next leader I invest after Lex Luthor is actually just going to be Green Arrow, because he's broken. He's a good character. I can put him, Diana, and Zatanna on the team, and it's that. Well, I mean, you actually can't put Zatanna with. I mean, you could put Zatanna in the front, but that's the point. Not going to get in that. That's the other thing. His leader skill is a slightly restrictive, but at the same time, you can kind of run a Superman in the front. It just varies. I'm not going to get into it right now. Moral of the story is that you can run these teams in very different ways, and they operate really, really well. And I'm curious to see what happens moving forward. I will just say this though. Last note, not her. I'm curious to see what they do with her. Poison needs a lot. Poison essentially has two characters. I'm not considering Scarecrow because he's an elite. So you have, and Penguin's good. So I think you've got a good core, which is those two characters, but you need a heck of a lot more to get that thing going, right? But I also think Poison can be really annoying. And then what we're going to see happen with Poison this might just be like a one video day, because this thing is like a beast of a video. But when we start seeing, I think, debuffs become more and more prevalent, we are also going to see characters that do debuff removal. And I think that is going to be a support type we will see come out in the near future, because I'm noticing that debuffs are very prevalent, and they can be very, very, like, a stun can legitimately, one single stun can lose you a game. If you watch any of my PvP videos, I had a Nightwing literally just stunning my Hal Jordan. Luckily, Hal Jordan can cleanse, which is also why I love Hal Jordan. But if he wasn't able to cleanse, he would just been perma-stunned. And then it's just like, great, now I'm fighting 4 to 5, right? So I have a feeling we're going to see some more debuff removals. But I'm going to say, guys, this is my last note. Watch out. Be careful on summoning for attackers. There's a lot of damage already in this game. We are missing key supports for key teams. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. While Pandora is very good with this passive where she's giving this one right here, she's giving damage equal 195% of her attack to a character. I don't think she's the key support character for shields. I don't think she's gonna be that character for you guys. Could I be wrong? Yeah. If Mr. Terrific is not a support, then I'm gonna go for her over time, because I think is she good? Yes, she's very good. But again, I'm trying to think like this in planning out, so that when you're planning and when you're thinking about, okay, with these games, guys, you gotta think long term, because again, what they're gonna do, like right now, this might be slightly a hot take. It might be. Unless you're running burn, you should not really be pulling for the new Superman. I don't think you should be. Because I hate to say it like this, guys, and I'm just going to be real with you. Is he good? This is not, now am I saying he's bad? No, he is very good on burn. Batman does what he does. And Batman has a leader skill for single target. So, and you can get characters that do what Superman is doing, the DCU Superman is doing, for like Batman, Batman, Red Hood, Nightwing. I mean, you can run almost like you can run an epic exclusive single target team, and it works just fine. Do I think the new Superman is necessary? Nah. Is he good? Yeah, he's very good. Do I think you need him? No. I play these games on a need basis. What I mean by need basis, do I need this character? Is this character going to fundamentally change how the game plays? So when you're planning out moving forward, you need to think about, okay, so for me, man, this video is so long. Oh, whatever. I'm waiting for when Mr. Terrific comes out. And when Mr. Terrific comes out, if Mr. Terrific is a support shielder, I'm going balls to the wall for him, because I want a shielding. I don't really like Pandora. I don't like the idea that she's losing so much HP. Is she good? Yeah, I'm not saying she's not. It's not saying she's bad. I just don't like that style of sacrificing. That's just not my play style. You might like it and know how to like move characters around. Maybe you're just better than me. That's great. You know, do you? But that's just not my preferred play style. But at the same time, I do acknowledge she's very good. She's shielding up. I mean, but I want AoE shields, because then it's making just better, right? The next team I'm going to work on after that, it depends. If I can get Superman, this guy, the tank Superman, my next team is most likely going to be Burn. Or because I'm already been working a lot on block, if I can get Blue Beetle, then I'm going to go for blue. Then I'm going to go straight. If I pull Superman or Blue Beetle in my weekly recruitments in the near future, I'm I'm going for one. Then I'm going straight up either block or burn. But I will say this, a safe investment too that I might just do as well is go Superman. I'm sorry, Superman. Whatchamacallit? Where is it? I might actually, it would be AoE. AoE with Green Arrow, and what's her name? And Wonder Woman. And then like Constantine, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, and then figure out something in terms of, I might even actually use this new Superman on that team because he's actually a really good tank, but he's an attacker. So I might actually do something like with that. I think that might be kind of interesting, like having a block team that's, I don't know, I figure it out. We'll see. I don't know. Still playing with it. But that's what I'm thinking is you need to think about, I'm going to tell people, wait for supports. See what the supports are coming out as. Now, if you have a lot of supports, fine. But again, there's not a lot of supports in this game. If I go look at my characters right now, there are really not a lot of supports. There's tanks, and you've got 1, 2, and then 3 right now that are really, I think, very I mean, you've got, again, I'm not trying to knock Two-Face, but he's kind of niche in a regard. So there are supports, but they're all kind of like, you know, like Kid Flash and Zatanna are just kind of like, you just toss them on a team and they work, right? They're not the best, they're not the worst, but they do good stuff. But again, they're not the best, they're not the worst. So, and Ocean Master is very niche, but he's very good in that niche, but he's very niche. I really want to raise him up because once Yami Yugi 13, remember you, dude, or Dudette, once you said that he gives a 1% HP back every time someone blocks, I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cool, but I need to get Bloodshot to do that. I don't know if I, like, that's a lot of investment. So I'm looking at my team comp right now. I think the investment is going to be, so if I look at Green Arrow, so I need AoE characters. So I might put, it would be like him, her, then Nightwing, and then I'd have like Bane, right? And that could work. There's a lot of ways you can make this team work. I think Bane actually is a really good option there, but he kind of wants a little more. Okay, never mind. But this video is so long, I'm gonna shut up now. But that's my plans moving forward. If you've stayed this long and listened to me yap, good on you. I don't think I'm that interesting, but I'm glad you do. So if you stayed this long, thanks. I appreciate you. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are for pulling in the future. But again, I would say wait for supports. There's so many tanks right now. Well, even tank, there's a lot of tanks. There's a lot of tanks in DPS. Really look at this and look. Yeah, this is a super broken, support. I don't think there's that many super broken supports. Is there a support version of like Lex Luthor? Is there a support version of like Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman is almost kind of supporty, but that's besides the point. But do you know what you see what I'm saying? There's not one of these characters that's just like blowing it away 5-star support, because Cyborg is not that great. Supergirl, very niche, very niche. We need some universal supports. So we'll see what they do. All right, y'all. It was nice chatting with y'all. Hope you have a great day. And remember, failing is just your first attempt in learning.